So here's the electronics tray that I made. Relays are all mounted. Dakota Digital to Holley BIM, which connects between here and here and gives the this is the Dakota Digital RTX control module, obviously the Terminator X ECU, and you can see I've done some of the wiring already, pre-wiring that I can do right here on the workbench. Don't be afraid to do that. I've got two relays that are going to be 12 volt positive trigger, so that would be these two for the transmission, the fuel pump, which will come from the Holley Terminator, and then I have two ground triggers for my parking lights and HVAC compressor. I think you guys have already seen some of this with all my PIM nuts in place on for everything to attach to. And then I also have a couple of PIM studs in a few key places where I'll be able to put a clamp on there to kind of route and control some wiring. So wanted to show that off before I got it into the truck. The relays that I'm using are from Leash Electronics. They just one relay module. He also has some duals. He also has multiples. They get more expensive as you go. These are $25. Come with a replaceable fuse, or they don't come with the fuse. You pick the fuse that you want. Set it up. Basic 12 volt in, out to your source, and then you've got a ground and your power for the relay. Very easy to wire. Very nice little modules if you guys are looking for something clean. Zoe, this thing says, do not shorten, cut, lengthen, otherwise modify this harness for any reason. Well, that seems pretty dumb. Oops. Now what? Great. We're jumping forward here quite a ways. Sorry about it. I took a COVID vacation. Oh boy, Girl Scout cookies arrived. All right, back at it. We've jumped forward quite a ways since the last bit in the video. That's my fault. I haven't done a very good job of keeping up with everything that's going on. But here we are. The truck is just about ready to start. Got a little bit to do, plumbing the fuel lines for the gas tank from the fuel regulator back, and then electrical fuel pump wire needs to get landed, fuel sending unit needs to get landed, and then the rear tail lights. But that's it on this truck. I'm about done with this thing. Everything is in place, so you'll see that in the back I am waiting on a pigtail for the oil pressure sensor, and it does not have a fuel pressure sensor on it, but it is wired for it if somebody wants to add it later. Other than that, I'm just going to kind of pick up the camera and kind of scan around a little bit on what I've done, so you guys can see close up exactly what I did. When I started this truck, it was obviously already painted. So one of the hard things to deal with on it is how to neatly attach loomed wire, or keep it from rubbing something, or just keep it out of the way. Can't easily go back and weld a little tab on to someplace. I don't feel very good trying to drill a hole in it and thread it or do anything, because you just know you're just going to chip that paint. So one of the things that I've been using a lot on this build, and I've used them before in the past and they do work very, very well, Mag Daddy zip tie mounts. Steel body truck, I can stick this thing anywhere I want to and attach a wire and hold it. Matter of fact, in the sides of the fenders where electrical comes into the front, everything's loomed, and once I get it done, I stick a magnet up in there with zip tie on it and hold that up so the wire isn't rubbing on anything going down the road. It's up, out of sight, out of the way, and it's held there. They're 10-pound magnets, and they will hold. They'll just sit there. The very first vehicle that I ever used them on, seemed like I watched them for weeks, just waiting for one to pop off or move from somewhere. Hell, I've got some on the straight six engine in Hussey, and they don't move off the block. They sit exactly where I put them. They just stay there. So they're pretty cool and a neat trick if you're trying to figure out how to hold something. I've got them up underneath the dash in this truck, holding wire up to the bottom of the dash. I've got things all over the place. So this is pretty cool if you're looking for a solution for a problem like this, where it's like you just don't know how else to attach something. If you've got steel, magnets. Guess what today is? Oh man, the time has come. Today is the day. I'm happy. Old Blue is wired. It is time to plug in the battery and see if we release any smoke. Assuming that doesn't happen, this thing should be running here in maybe the next hour or so. Time to start topping off fluids and checking a couple things, and then I'll one at a time start putting fuses in and checking each circuit to make sure I don't have any problems, and eventually we'll get around to the point where it's time to fire this up. Cross your fingers. What's the matter, dog?